Guys, Danksy, Rhodes, how you guys doing?
We are doing excellent.
Awesome.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, been another insane. What's up, Danksy? How you doing, brother?
Good. Got back from Hong Kong yesterday, and beat. I'm still beat.
Oh man, how was it?
Pretty good. Hong Kong was really fun. I might just be remote full time and travel the world and be a
Really?
influencer.
That's the way to do it.
Wow.
Be remote, travel the world. Don't be a crypto influencer. Um, you know,
Yeah, interesting. But people are hopping on right now. I see Roja and Veji in the chat. What's up, guys?
Oh,
That's a good sign that the chat's working today.
we
For those of you
back
guys,
with the chat.
what'd you say?
We back with the chat.
Yeah. We had it last week, luckily. But yeah, crazy time, craziest week, maybe the craziest week we've had so far. I thought it was a perfect time to do this stream. I'm not gonna lie, like definitely have seen some corrective periods, which we'll go over here in a second in the past, both on and this bull run and in past. But when it comes to the meme coins, man, I've never seen anything like this. It's definitely insane. I've never seen coins go negative 95% so quickly before. But I think it just speaks to how like low liquidity, just how different the meme coin game is, which we'll go over in a second. But if you guys are still here hanging on with us, I appreciate you guys. It's been like I said, a crazy couple of weeks. We've been doing these streams now for like 8 or 9 months. Back when we first started, we were actually in a corrective period, very similar to what we're seeing right now. People have short-term memory, right? They don't realize that back in the summer from March through August, we got a period very similar to this where the majors pulled back, memes pulled back 50 to 90%, and then the ones that survived came out to go to all new all-time highs. I think that's exactly what's going to happen here. This time, it's a little bit different in a lot of ways, but we'll go into all that. Panda says, what's up? What's up, Anon? Aloha. I don't know if you're coming from Hawaii or what, but appreciate you. For those of you guys, again, are new to this stream, we like to have it super interactive. We'll be looking at the chat. If you have any comments, questions, chart requests, any of that, when it's time, we'll definitely be looking at that. But yeah, we're going to be talking about everything that's going on in crypto today, from the majors to the memes. Are they ever going to come back? We'll talk about that, NFTs, all of that stuff. But usually the way we start out this show, and then as well as we are going to have on my buddy Max, who has actually 4 decades of experience in the traditional finance realm, as well as he's been around, bought Ethereum under, I think what he said, under $7, Bitcoin under 1,000. So we'll hear from him and how past corrections in the traditional finance realm and as well as crypto compares to what we're seeing now. So usually the way we start out this show, as you guys can see on the screen, we have the Rhodes review. My boy Rhodes here is going to go over kind of everything that went over, happened, summarize everything that happened over the past few weeks, and then we'll get into it. Rhodes, you want to take over, brother?
yeah, it's been a wild couple of weeks. We've had this kind of cascading type of collapse, really dating all the way back to Trump with the Trump launch, meme coin launch, and then the inauguration kind of marked a bit of the local top. And then more recently, we had the Libra token and the fallout from that, which has really sucked up all of the liquidity and interest in meme coins. And then we've cascaded into a bit of the majors. Bitcoin has been very stable up until really the last day and a half, but the majors kind of seeing a bit of a pullback. Solana really seeing the most vicious of the pullbacks there. Ethereum and Ethereum related alts also pulling back, 10, 20, 50% even on some cases on some alts, and in meme coins as well, as Brent mentioned at the top there, really pulling back across the board, seeing, really significant retracements all the way across. And then Bitcoin here today, a cut back to as low as 85.8, roughly around that range, in this kind of high 85 range, which is breaking the lower level support of 90K. Bybit hack happened, I think, on Friday. It was kind of the spur of the weekend kind of pullback. For the most part, it's all been kind of recovered and not necessarily recovered, but like Bybit itself has kind of stabilized throughout all of this, and this was actually, I guess, goes down as the largest hack in human history, or heist or theft, in terms of like dollar value in current terms. SEC has dropped Coinbase and Robinhood investigations,
Nice.
but they are taking a focus on uh, crypto and in general, kind of like Memecoin and et cetera. Just a crypto cleanse kind of task force is also going there in light of everything that's gone on with um, the recent kind of meme scans, et cetera.
Yeah, which is good, right? Because SEC going after Coinbase, Robinhood, these other places, kind of like a witch hunt, trying to accuse them of being securities, offering securities and all that. Whereas now, like you said, they're focusing more on the fraud side, where people are
Hmm.
creating coins and doing fraud pump and dumps, all
and I
that different
and I
stuff.
think they've already tapped into some of the Libra side of it, started investigating there. So that is good news as well.
Yeah,
AI market cap 6 billion, not as low, but down 1.8% over the last 24 hours. NFT volume, ETH has really pulled back, mostly in light to the OpenSea walk back of their incentive point system. Ordinals and Solana are actually seeing a little bit higher volume. Over the last 24 hours, not a lot of green, as we've seen across all markets. Very few. I was able to pick out a few here that have seen a bit of a mostly a relief bounce, but Moonbirds up 2.4%. Very small increase when we talk about these movers here. Kenpai Pandas up 11%, so a little bit more significant. And then DGods up 1.7%. As well. I'm not going to say anything significant related to these projects in the relationship to why they're bouncing.
you see
Just
the tweet from D-Gods?
I did not see the DGods tweet.
They tweeted back to JPEG earlier.
Tweeted back the JPEG.
Yeah, they just tweeted back to JPEG.
What does that even mean?
Going back to the JPEGs, bro. Going back to their roots.
Oh man.
Oh, DGods. They just they like to do stuff. You can't say they're not doing stuff. I mean, I will say that they have zero direction. Um, you know, best art, but the least direction.
Yeah,
But great. I mean, they're an NFT collection. They're
yeah,
not a meme coin collection, etc. So good to see that. I mean, it really should be about the art and the JPEGs. And if they had a related meme token to trade along with it, great. But let's focus on the NFT collection, and then everything else is kind of a spurs on from that. That's really the way the design should be. So
yeah,
interesting to see. I didn't see the tweet. I just saw that they were up a bit. I just thought, maybe it's a relief bounce, or maybe it's the fact that, maybe Frank isn't focusing so much on meme coins. So maybe the idea is that he'll focus on the NFT collection a little bit, and kind of sounds like it. So
for sure.
meme coins, a few. These are the same ones that were up on Friday.
Yeah,
For the most part, virtuals up 3.5% to 730. They were 800 mil on Friday, so they are down, but they are actually up on the 7 day. So a bit of the general trend has been down, but maybe a bit of a bottoming out on virtuals. SPX, same idea,
yeah,
2.6% up on the day, up 7% on the week, but again down from Friday. And then Pengu up 8.8% to 536 mil. They had been on such a significant slide, but they're also up on the 7 days. So a few green spots on the weekly and the daily. Good to see. And then here's the more interesting one here. Prediction markets have flipped significantly since Friday, and so odds of 110K is now down to 19%. It
mhm.
was 41% on Friday, and then 80K was 20% on Friday. It's now up to 41%. So those odds have flipped. So it kind of shows off the market sentiment overall when it comes to Bitcoin, which has
Yeah.
generally been flat, whereas everything else has been a bloodbath. So let's go. Let's get into the rest of the show. That's the recap.
Hell yeah. Thank you, Rotes. And definitely interesting to see a lot of bets on Polymarket the last few weeks, some like different ones, where the rest of the market's kind of down. Seems like they're getting more creative with it. So cool to see. I wonder if they're ever going to do an airdrop too. I know there was or a token and an airdrop. It was, I know they were talking about that before. But very interesting. Thank you for that, Rotes. Trying to see in the chat, nothing since we've seen. Yeah, someone said Max is an OG. Yeah, Max is great. He's probably going to pull up here in the next 15, 20 minutes, I'd imagine. But let's go ahead and get into the majors, kind of what's been Bitcoin, ETH, Sol, and coming down hard the last few days. I know a lot of uncertainty there. So let me make sure I'm good. Yeah, let me share my screen. Let's just do a window. Awesome. Can you guys see my screen? Perfect. Great.
Yeah.
So, um, yeah, obvious corrective behavior on Bitcoin. I've been saying in the streams and on Twitter and other places. By the way, if you guys are on here, two things. There is a chat section. A lot of people don't realize there's actually a chat function on Twitter where the chat will kind of come up on the side. A lot of times people like to comment on the actual post of the stream, which is cool too. But definitely check out that chat. And then two, if you guys could like, comment, share this stream so we can get this out to more people, that'd be great. But let's go ahead and get started on the majors. Bitcoin, obvious corrective behavior. To me, we've been talking about whether Bitcoin, the correction we're seeing now, will look more like the summer of 2023 correction, which is a corrective consolidation where we kind of made a low, popped back up, came down, held that low for this is 4 or 5 months, and then headed back to the upside. Or would it look more like the summer correction of 24, where we got a corrective channel where the correction saw multiple lows before it came up? I think what we're seeing here now of the break of the $90,000 low makes this second option, the summer of 2024, uh, look more likely, right? Where we may come down here, bounce, and even make another low as a potentially, but form this kind of corrective like channel like structure before we head back to the upside, right? So either way, whether we miraculously turn around here and it looks more like the summer of 23, or we get the summer of 24 type correction where we get another low, maybe another bounce here, and potentially another low under 80. Um, Either way, both of these scenarios are going to lead to new all-time highs on the majors. To me, I think in Q2 to Q3, we'll see new all-time highs, probably early Q2 if I had to put a number on it. I think what's going to end up happening is I think we've been in a correction here for about 2.5 months. If I had to guess, I don't think this correction will be 5 or 6 months like this last one. I think we'll be in here for 3 or 4 months, maybe another month or so, and then head back to the upside. We kind of just have to pay attention here. Again, what I'd be expecting here is a bounce between here and 80. And then at that point, we see if it takes us back to all-time highs or if we get a lower high and then come back maybe for another low, kind of forming, again, a similar correction to what we saw in the summer of 24. But also, if we do bottom out here and just rip back to the upside, reclaim 92, and then close back above 100, at that point, I think it's over and we just be ripping back from here. Either way, the short term is kind of a mystery. We have to see kind of how it plays out. But I do think in the mid and long term, these majors are going way higher. We just kind of have to see how it plays out over the next couple weeks, months. Again, if we do reclaim 92 in the next few days, and then eventually 100, I think the bottom's in and we just rip up from here. But we also have to be prepared that we could see a scenario where we're kind of chopping in this channel for a few more weeks to a few more months. But either way, everything chart related wise, the fundamentals, with all the regulatory clarity coming, we have a bunch of states every single day passing like Bitcoin reserve laws through the Senate, through the House, now getting to the Senate. A bunch of positive developments for crypto. I do think that sometimes, like we've seen, it takes a couple months, sometimes potentially for the price to catch up to the good fundamental news. But I think just like how we saw in the ETF when it started trading, price came down for a few months and then we just ripped to new all-time highs. I think that's exactly what we're going to see here for Bitcoin, ETH, and Sol. ETH looks a little bit different here. It's a deeper correction, but I expect it to follow Bitcoin here perfectly. I expect it to follow Bitcoin here to the upside, probably more explosive. But the way that we're looking here, the fact that ETH's already made this new low in the channel, I think we're very likely going to get a bounce here. Again, we just need to see if that bounce is going to be the one that breaks us back to all-time highs, or if we're going to see something like this, like I showed you on Bitcoin, where potentially come up here and then maybe come back down for one more low. either way, the writing's on the wall here, chart wise, guys. This is obviously very, very corrective on the higher time frames. And same thing with Bitcoin. I do think over the next few months we see ETH break up out of this corrective channel it's in, and then eventually go above 4,000 and then all time highs. For me, again, 5K ETH in Q2 to Q3 2025 is my base case. So another thing we can look at too is actually, which is interesting, is Sol ETH, which is measures the strength of Sol versus ETH. For a long time, this 2024, as you can see, Sol just ripped against ETH, right? It went up 2x. If you would have sold all your ETH for Sol back here in June of 2024, you'd now have 2 times more ETH. What we're seeing here now, though, is Sol Sol ETH made this high in November, and then came back down, retested it, failed to break, and is now making a big impulsive move down. Whereas ETH is down almost 20 or 30% against ETH over the last few weeks. If it breaks below this low at 0.05, I think ETH is going to continue to gain strength against Sol, even as we head back to the upside. And this could definitely act as a major reversal on Sol and ETH, where, my base case, it's been for a little bit here, that we do see ETH outperform both Bitcoin and Sol looking back at the end of the year. So definitely something interesting to keep an eye on. And then we'll just go to Sol really quickly as well, too. Sol is just getting absolutely wrecked. A lot having to do with a lot of fear around the meme coin shit, that everything that went down. I think a lot of people also were super long on Sol because it was just assumed that Sol would just continue to the upside and outperform ETH. So we're seeing a lot of liquidity cascades. But I think Sol really is just super reflexive. Whenever we see big moves to the upside, Sol usually outperforms. And then when we see corrections, it usually gets hit pretty hard as well. What I'm expecting to see on Sol, just like Bitcoin and ETH, is a bounce here pretty soon, which again would just further confirm corrective behavior. But it's also possible Sol comes back up to maybe around 170 and gives us one more low. If ETH, Bitcoin, Sol do give us this one more low here that I'm showing here on all three charts, this is where you really want to buy and make sure you get in your meme coin buys and everything, because I believe this would be the final low and be a very, very obvious correction that I wouldn't be fading. So my game plan, guys, is I do leverage trading, but I think the one thing that's kind of saved my ass and has helped me really not just not lose money, but actually make a little bit of money during this period when it comes to leverage, is I've just been very, very slow to get into trades. I've gotten into 2 longs here. One of them I got out in slight profit. One of them I got out with a small loss. There's going to be a time again to long and catch the bottoms, but it's going to be after it's already confirmed. So if you're trading at any leverage right now, it's very easy to lose money. I would just take it easy on that. As far as the chat goes, if you guys have any requests as far as any of the majors on TradingView, we'll check it out. And then as well as the memes, we're going to get to that in a second as well. He says I have buy limits. Anon says I have buy limits at 77K. I agree. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if we'll get that low, but if we do, I think that's a great entry. Crypto Envy says, "Afternoon, boys. What's up, brother?" I'm going to pull up the chat on my phone as well, so I can read it without looking at the screen. But yeah, like I said, guys, I think the majors, just a waiting game. I do think it's possible we bounce up just straight from here and go back to all-time highs. But I think it's very likely on these majors is we get a bounce here soon, and then potentially one more low in these channels that they're drawing or that they're forming. And at that point, I think it's very, very good chance to buy. What I'm doing right now, which we'll go over the memes in a second, is still just slowly averaging into my very, very high conviction coins. Because when these majors do bottom out, just like we saw in this correction in April to October or April to September, a bunch of memes got crushed. Everything got crushed 50 to 90%. But the Gigas, SPX, MOGs, Ticker Bitcoins, lock-ins, all the ones that came out of those corrections went on to 5 to 20 to 100x even on a few of them, like SPX. Same thing's going to happen here. I think we're going to get 5, 10, 20x's across the board on the coins that survived. And the people that are buying them right now are going to be doing very well. Let me see here. I'm going to the chat really quick here. I want to look at it. GT3 says few. Yeah. Burrito, can you talk about Bird Dog on BSC? I will look at that. Web32 says Miss Pepe Brett. Land Wolf, Andy, don't miss on your chance in a huge runner this time on BSC. Bird Dog. Yeah, we'll look at Bird Dog, bro. Um, but yeah, guys, I think we kind of have to see how the majors do react here. I think we're going to get a bounce. We have to see if that bounce is going to take us back to all time highs from here, or it's just another bounce and a bigger corrective channel. Either one's possible. I think if you're looking, the long, or you just kind of want to see what's going on, if we do get a close back above this prior bounce high at around 101 with like a daily candle close, at that point, I think the bottom's in, and there's like a 70 to 90% chance, from my experience, that the bottom's in and we just rip back to all time highs from here. But yeah, we just got to see how strong this next bounce is. And either way, guys, I think the best days are yet to come for us. We're just seeing a correction similar to all the other ones. And to be honest, anybody who knows anything about past cycles, we just went up only, right? We went up only from April, and for this correction, for example, or this bull market, from March 20 up to April 21, Bitcoin went up 10x. And then what happened? We got a 90, 80% bear market after that. But this bull market, it seems like we're entering a new era very potentially, where instead of just going up only and getting an 80% crash, we're getting these big, strong moves up and then corrections or resets in between. Big moves up, corrections or resets in between. Big moves up, corrections or resets in between. Hopefully, what this leads to is that the 4-year cycle is over and Bitcoin just kind of grinds up, kind of like the S&P 500 does for the next 10, 20 years, right? Obviously, that's best case scenario. But we are seeing, my whole point is we are seeing very different behavior versus past cycles, which is very healthy if we want to see crypto sustain for multiple years where we don't get crushed 80 to 90% on Bitcoin. And I don't know that's easy to say because a lot of our coins are getting crushed like that right now, but it's just never a good sign, or it just gets way more brutal when the majors are getting hit that hard. But yeah, I think right now Bitcoin needs to, like I said, bottom out in the next several weeks or next few months. I think Bitcoin dominance probably has another run, but at some point does come down and get a major correction. Um, I think any of the majors guys are going to be the same thing, like AVAX, Sui, Ton, all that. The ones that are like the top 10, top whatever L1s will come out of this correction. Um, so I won't go too much into these. I know a lot of people probably want to talk about the memes. But yeah, Doge, Shib, all that I think will run again. Total 3 is the one I made a tweet on the other day. I think this one is also one that should give people confidence that we're going to see another big run here. Total 3 is the total crypto market cap taking out or excluding Bitcoin and ETH. So it's essentially a measure of the strength of the altcoin / meme coin market. As you can see, we got a major move up to 1.1 trillion, fat pullback over the last 3 months. But as you can see, we got the same thing of from March to August of 24, and then we just ripped up 2x. I think the same thing is going to happen here. We're getting a 30% correction. We probably get one more low here, back maybe in the 700s, and then we rip up to new all-time highs. 1.5 trillion is where I think we'll hit this year. Total 3.
Did you see the double top on the T3?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm looking at right now. But yeah, that's just one piece of information. This is still very corrective to me.
Sorry, I mean, keep zooming out. Keep zooming out. I think it's from the
Oh,
past.
yeah.
Here,
Yeah,
yeah.
no, for sure. Definitely a major high, but it's showing corrective behavior in there. If we were just to be consolidating for like 2 or 3 months up here and then just saw a fat red candle down, then that definitely could be a bigger reversal. But to me, this is just another version of what we saw in March, just kind of correcting at a major all-time high. But yeah, no, that's definitely notable. And it's just crazy to see that we still have less total money in crypto than we did in 2021. Just goes to show how strong Bitcoin's been, I think. But yeah, guys, I think any of the strong alts memes, I'm sorry, any of the strong alts, the L1s, all that will very likely have a resurgence. I think for me, I really like AVAX here as far as all the L1s, because I do think that the crypto gaming thing will have a run. But really, I mean, if you're buying anything that has any type of staying power or anything like that, should be good buys right now, just with the understanding that stuff could come down a little bit lower. So. Oh, and then one more thing: the S&P 500 also been a pretty wild week for S&P as well. To me, this is not a major reversal, even though we did kind of double top. I think what's likely to happen, we probably chop down, maybe form a higher low, and then eventually head back to the upside over the next few months. Kind of similar to how crypto is playing out, or how I see crypto playing out. So AVAX is sound. Love it too. Yeah, AVAX is cool. X Radical says, check out XMW, has been accumulating for a month with a strong daily candle, highest conviction alt play on ETH for me. Yeah, let me look at that and see if that's on Trading View. Yeah, I don't see it. It must be on memes, the deck screener. We'll look at that in a second. But yeah, guys, just to kind of conclude what I said about the majors, I think over the next few months we will see a new all-time high in Q2 or Q3 on the majors, probably sometime in early Q2, if I had to guess. We are just seeing another version of what we've seen in past years, the summer correction of 24. We are 2 or 3 months into this. The other two corrections gave us a 5 month correction and a 6 month correction from top to bottom. Do we see a 5 month correction here for another few months? Does it end sooner? If I had to guess, I think we probably get less than that, 5 or 6 months, maybe 3 or 4 for another month or so. But it's impossible to time these things. My point here is what we're seeing now, at least on Bitcoin, ETH, and Sol, is nothing that we haven't seen before. And I think what we're going to end up seeing is the same thing we saw summer of 23, summer of 24. Bitcoin, ETH, Sol will come out of this, go to new all-time highs, and the coins that survive, the memes, alts, all that will go to all-time highs as well. So thanks. Burrito says, thanks a lot, boss. Yeah, no worries. Let's go ahead and move on to the memes. I want to go ahead and check out some charts that you guys are looking at as well. I'll kind of go over my thoughts right now. For me, nothing's really changed. I've been accumulating the coins through this correction that have survived these corrections before. I think that's the best strategy because coins, for example, we have Fartcoin here. Been through not one, but two, three. This is the fourth correction of at least 50% on Fartcoin. I think all these are more than 50, 60% plus. What this shows is when this happens that the supply every time goes into stronger hands. It shows that there's a strong community, that people that are still grinding and raiding and all that despite price going down. It means better supply distribution, good community, and all that. I think there's definitely coins that are going through their first correction that will survive. But if you're looking for more surefire bets, stuff that is down 50, 60%, that'll very likely go 5 to 10x from here, you want to look at the coins, at least for me, coins that have been through this shit before, right? So Fartcoin, for example, even though it's down, what is it, 70 or 80%, I think very likely, just like we saw in summer of 24, Fartcoin and the strong meme coins will recover out of these majors, the correction of the majors. So Fartcoin, I think, is a good one. Giga, another example that I have marked out here of how many corrections it's seen. This is its sixth 70+% correction in the last 12 months. Again, very likely to do it again. Great community. It just through all these, the supply goes into better hands, all that. So same kind of thing. Giga, I think makes new all-time highs. XBX, same kind of thing. Obvious correction, been through this before, year plus time in the game. I think we're going to see a lot of the money and capital start to go concentrate in the more stronger coins. And as a result, I think SPX is going to go, this isn't the right one, but SPX is going to go to 5-10 billion plus, I think, as a result of this. And then probably the most undervalued, no-brainer kind of one out there is MOG. Just MOG in an 80% correction. Just perfect example of what I said. It's just been through all these corrections before. The community doesn't give a fuck about 60, 70% corrections. They still strong, still have a bigger mission. For that reason, I think it's going to go way higher. That's the shit I've been buying. I think there's stuff in AI that's kind of been going through its first 90% correction. Fartcoin, Goat. I don't know about Zero, bro. It looks pretty fucking nasty. Wouldn't count that out necessarily. AI 16Z, just the real obvious ones, the quote unquote obvious ones that really had a lot of mind share. AI XBT, virtual. Those are the ones that I would be buying if you're looking for the AI stuff. Again, because they're just already have an established community and has been through these. Some of these have been through them before. So that's kind of my strategy. Just been buying the ones that have been through this shit before, simply.
Yeah, pretty bullish on AI 16Z. Eliza met the team in consensus, and they're building some interesting stuff. And
Hell yeah.
yeah, they don't really care about token price. They're building no matter what. So
That's good to hear. Yeah, AI 16Z down about the same as Fart, 70 or 80. I mean, I could show
yeah,
you all those.
basically 90% at this point from the top, right?
Yeah, just about. It didn't hit three. About, yeah, but from top to bottom, it was about 90. I think it's just a rite of passage. It sounds crazy, but just the rite of passage for these meme coins. I can show you Mog, SPX, Giga, even Pepe, for example, we didn't look at, which we should, has been through these 90% corrections before. It's just kind of a rite of passage. Um, not
Have you seen Whiff recently? It's at 50 cents.
yeah, whiff is nuts. Definitely not a great chart. Like this is not. I'm not like extremely
It's
bullish on this
close.
versus
Who
everything.
was it Ansem that was like the Whiff prophet?
Yeah, it's definitely big on whiff. I don't like how it literally essentially made this giant double top and just fucking collapsed. Um, yeah, I mean I wouldn't count this out with how much mind share it has, but definitely not looking great versus stuff like SPX, Giga, Mog, which are in more tight like corrective channels at least. Where this is nasty. Um, but yeah, let's look at some of the ones that you were talking about. Bird Dog, somebody on there.
Oh, do you see Broccoli was doing numbers, and then I don't know what it's at doing now.
Yeah, broccoli. A few. Yeah, one. None of like they. None of the broccolis kind of like went away or pulled away like people thought. I guess they kind of all went to shit, right? Is this the one you're talking about? Bird Dog on? No, this is probably you're talking about the one on.
Try the one on
Yes.
Binance now. Yeah. Dude, what's all these Binance meme coins?
CZ the other day, kind of tweeted about, kind of started engaging with the meme coin stuff, talking about his dog. That's what broccoli was. Is the name of his
Yeah.
dog apparently?
I mean, it seems like there's more capital inflow into Binance or BSC.
Yeah. How do I go to my bookmarks? Okay. There was a couple things I want to look over as well. GME or GameStop. We were talking about on the last stream how there's pictures of Michael Saylor meeting with the CEO of GameStop, Ryan Cohen, and now it looks like he's talking about converting the balance sheet to Bitcoin as well, which is interesting.
I mean, now it's a great time to do it.
Yeah,
Better than the entry Micro Sailor had for the last couple months.
yeah, he's up fucking billions though. But yeah, I hear you. Oh, this is very interesting. Full cycle complete 6 month pumped up fund post mortem. Coins bonded 87,000. 4 coins went above 100 million. 40 coins went above 10. That's the one that really like shocked me, bro. Like only in the last 6 months, obviously conditions have been trash, but
I
40.
mean, if you look, I want to see I want to see more like the top, like the max market cap instead of what it's at now. Because if you look at like Mishi was from Pumped Up Fund.
Yeah, this is the last 6 months though. So this is the market cap that it hit, the top market cap. That's not what they're at right now.
Mm.
But yeah, no, this is just the last 6 months though. So Mishi obviously came out like a year ago. So I would bet that obviously the last 6 months before that was probably a lot better. But still, just in the last 6 months, only 40 coins have gotten above 10 million on Pump Fund. 250 only above a million, and then the rest 79,000 just went down after 100K. It's pretty fucking nuts. Of the top 13 pumped on fund coins all launched in 2024, the top coins launched in the last 2 months are stocks and Vine.
We got a comment from mtrix111 on TikTok. He asked if the bull run is over.
What's up, Mtrix? How you doing, brother? Definitely go and shoot us a follow on Twitter, so we can see you in the chat sometimes. But I appreciate you being on TikTok. To answer your question, no, I don't think the bull market is over. I think what we're seeing is just another. I don't know if you can see my screen, bro, but I think what we're seeing is just another version of the two corrections we got in the summer of 2023 and the summer of 2024, where the majors come down anywhere from 20 to 40%. Uh, and then bottom out. And then once they come out of those corrections, historically, again, in summer of 23, 24, and then in past years, once the majors come out of these mini corrections, we see the memes, the alts, everything that survived usually head back to the upside as well. And kind of we see a concentration back into the good assets. Not everything survives. But to answer your question, what's his name again?
Mtrix one
Mtrix.
one one one.
Yeah, Mtrix 1111. Appreciate the question. To answer your question, brother, I don't think the bull market's over. The bull market and everything's driven by the majors, meaning Bitcoin, ETH, and Sol. And Bitcoin and ETH, again, look very, very similar to what we've seen in past cycles. So therefore, for these reasons, the chart reasons, as well as all the positive stuff that we're seeing regulatory wise from all the countries, all the states talking about, having Bitcoin reserves, all of that is going to just contribute to another leg higher sometime in Q2 or Q3 of 2025, I believe. So,
No,
but
Brent, I completely agree with you. Um, when what's your boy's name? Max Crypto,
yeah,
dude. When he came on that spaces we did that I was like 2 weeks ago or something,
yeah,
and he was like, "Yeah, dude, it's just the beginning. Think about all the sovereign wealth funds. Think about all the countries, the states, the pension funds, institutions coming to buy in Bitcoin, and they haven't started yet. Think about that
hmm
amount of volume buying into Bitcoin. I'm not worried whatsoever. I'm a lot of people I met and consensus was like stabling their portfolio, I guess, if they're trying to trade it. But I'm just gonna sit and wait because the real big boys haven't even started buying yet.
exactly, right. And it's definitely not like fun to be all in on memes like a lot of people are. But it's just you really just got to look historically at what happens after these corrections are over. Would I be stabling right now? I think the stable time to stable is probably a few months ago. But with that being said, you got to manage your risk, all that, especially if it's not going to drive you crazy. But yeah, I think now is the time if you do have dry powder and you did play it right over the last few months and had some stables and ETH and sold to deploy. Now is the time to deploy in the very high conviction, very proven stuff that's in those 60 or 70% corrections. Because again, historically, every single time when Bitcoin, ETH, Sol come out of these corrections, so do the strong memes, alts, and all that. So I think some great opportunities for those who aren't completely wrecked right now. If you are completely wrecked, I've been there. Trust me, I think you just make a few like slight adjustments, meaning number one, taking profits on the way up more aggressively, especially on the newer stuff, and then not being so all in on memes, like having some dry powder, ETH, Bitcoin, Sol stables, kind of sitting, so you have the opportunity to buy these dips and not just be completely wrecked. Um, that's interesting. You so consensus? Did you find like it was like mostly like a builders event where there's a lot of technical type stuff, or was there a lot of cool events and attractions and stuff to see?
Uh, Kind of both. It really depends on what events you go to. I
Yeah,
had a lot of fun at the KOL events and just talking to. I mean, the KOLs and like the meme coins overlap a lot, so um, I talked to a lot of KOLs and what they were doing and how they're trying to navigate the market. So it was pretty interesting. And then there was a bunch of market makers, which was kind of annoying. So
like people
they're
that
like
are looking for
they're
like
like like 10 of them a day would be coming to you and be like, "Oh, I'm a market maker. Do you have any meme coins that you want to market make with?" I'm like, "Bro, get away from me."
interesting, just like they just look like I don't know. That's insane. Did they say what companies they were from and shit, or
What?
did you like notice was there like, any bigger like company that a lot of them were from or anything?
No, it's just everyone was there like trying to trying to be the market maker for you, right? Because like I think they're one of the biggest winners of the meme coin stuff, being market makers.
Yeah.
So I mean, they get a shit ton of tokens and fiat just for market making.
Yeah, I think market makers are kind of the one of the most misunderstood thing in our space, and like there's a lot even I don't understand. I think a lot of people think market makers like there's market makers as far as the big exchanges like Binance and all them that on the big exchanges that probably do drive price at least in the short term. But I think a lot of the meme coin market makers like really aren't there to drive like they don't care if the price goes up or down. They're just trying to provide liquidity and get fees. Whereas I feel like a lot of people in crypto think that they're all completely evil and just trying to like crash the price or whatever.
No,
Um,
I mean, market makers don't. The market makers aren't like, they're not trying to like,
care
I
about
mean,
direction. Yeah,
they might have like goals for price, but in general, what they're doing is like a whale's trying to sell on a DEX or a centralized exchange, and they're kind of balancing that out so you don't just get a huge red candle or a huge green
yeah.
candle, you
Just
know?
making shit more efficient. Yeah, the good ones,
Right.
that's what they should be doing. And that actually leads me to another point. Citadel is actually entering the crypto space as a market maker slash.
Oh no. The real market makers coming in.
Yeah, but everybody, I think that's like the general, like, and understandably so, like, whatever, the whole GME situation. A lot of people are like, that's their first reaction is, oh no, they're coming into the space. But like, I think this is extremely bullish. First of all, they're the most regulated market maker out there, right? Like, I think they're less likely to be more scammy than like some random extractive crypto market maker. And then two, this just shows that they see longevity in their space and all that. Who knows? Maybe some coins they might be whatever. But generally, if you're trading the good coins, whatever, Citadel is going to have no effect on the coins. If anything, it's just a sign, to me at least, that they see longevity in the crypto market. Whereas in past years, they were kind of iffy about it. This one, and I want to hear your thoughts too, but they're talking about it's looking to become a liquidity provider for cryptocurrencies, betting President Donald Trump's embrace of the industry will usher in a new boom for the asset class. So it just kind of goes along with what Max was saying. I hope he does come in today. I don't know. Oh, he said he's coming in 5 minutes, which is cool. But I want to hear his thoughts on this as well. But it's just good to see. Like, it's a lot of the people, whether it be the states, Texas, South Dakota, Ohio, a lot of these states, or people like Ken Griffin and Citadel, they see the writing on the wall that even though prices are down right now, that there's a big boom coming for crypto, very likely, kind of driven by the regulatory clarity from the regulators. And
No,
then,
for sure.
and real quickly, he said clear pivot in the firm's previously cautious state, and it looks like they're going to be market making on Coinbase, Binance, Crypto.com. Again, so they're not likely to really be touching your meme coins. It'll be more on the higher liquidity stuff anyway.
Yeah. I mean, what another thing I kind of got out of the conference was that when especially like quantitative finance, traditional quantitative finance people come into crypto, they usually dominate their respective niches. So I'm expecting the same for Citadel.
Yeah.
They're going to be definitely a huge player. They're going to make some waves, and some of the existing quants right now will probably feel it more than the normal people.
For sure, yeah. If you're a market maker already in crypto, yeah, you might want to be more worried. But as far as like a trader, I don't think this is, especially
Yeah,
for the meme coin.
I don't think the people who aren't making bots and market making, I don't think we'll see a real difference. But I think it's gonna be a fight for the market makers for sure once they come in.
Absolutely. Web32 says CTO soon. Oh, Anon 835 says dog with hat looked like it fell down the stairs. Yeah, yeah, man. Web32 says CTO as soon as more volume comes into BNB. Okay. Starting swing trading really helped me with my scalping, even though it helps. Interesting. Citadel is going to make crypto hyper KYC. I don't dig it. Uh, you think just because they're the market makers coming in that it's going to be super? If you look, I don't know if you saw Coinbase. They're trading on Coinbase, Binance, Crypto.com, where you already need KYC anyway. So
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I mean, Anon, tell me if I'm wrong. Like, you definitely explain in the chat, but I don't think because Citadel's coming in, it's going to change the KYC laws for crypto in general, right? I don't know.
No, I don't. I don't. I think. I mean, Coinbase is KYC all the way through. Binance US is like has like no liquidity or volume, and
Yeah,
then Crypto.com has like insane fees. So
for sure. Let's see. I know I had a few more things before. Yeah. Ohio Strategic Bitcoin Reserve Bill advances past the committee stage. Yeah, the Bitcoin, whatever. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
are would you say all the alts are kind of in the same situation right now, just like down?
Yeah, I do think we are going to see at some point in the cycle, probably on this next run, where it'll kind of be where everything kind of runs. And again, that's going to be driven by eventually normies, all coming in. Well, this has happened. Everybody doubts it's going to happen. They think, oh, Trump kind of offboarded a lot of people, which is true in some sense. But I think people always come back to speculate when prices are going up and there's ways that there's money to be made. Normies eventually will come in a more sustainable way for multiple months. We kind of saw it in November. I don't know if you guys remember, but like in the channel, like the Telegram channel, in Bossman calls, we got a huge influx of people. The streams were going crazy. I think we hit our all-time high viewership of close to like 2,000 or whatever. And then Bitcoin kind of topped out in November, December. I think on this next run, we're going to see more of what we saw in November with normies kind of coming in, but this time be more sustainable for multiple months. And that at that point, I think we are going to see a lot of the older alts you're talking about, Danksy, the AVAX, the Chainlink, the Uniswap, all those ones that have been around for multiple years, Doge, kind of run at the same time as the memes. But yeah, I don't know when that's going to be. Probably at some point this year. But yeah, that's usually what happens at the end or at some point of all these cycles is normies, come in a big way. A lot of times that marks kind of the top of the cycle. Maybe it's healthier that we haven't gotten that yet. But yeah, I think at some point the older memes will run. Panda says, "What bullish headlines do you guys expect that will send things hard?" I think Panda. I think we're already seeing a lot of bullish headlines. I think what most people don't realize is that narrative follows price, meaning conditions are really everything. Elon Musk, for example, will put out Doge tweets back in August and September, and they'll do absolutely nothing when conditions are shit. And that's the richest man in the world, right? Like, and the most influential person, like on Twitter. But when conditions are good, his tweets and everything matter. Same kind of thing happens here, Panda. I don't know if there necessarily will be some kind of crazy catalyst. There could be, but what I think is going to happen is prices eventually going to bottom out, and all the positive catalysts that we're seeing are going to start to be digested as very positive price wise. So to answer your question, I think we're already seeing those positive catalysts, man. Could we see something crazy like some state or country or company buying Bitcoin that marks the bottom? For sure, but I don't think we need one. I think what we need is just price to bottom out, and then we'll start to see all the positive stuff that's already happening start to be digested as positive in the market. But
You guys want to hear a pretty contrarian take to what we've been talking about?
sure, why not?
That there might not be like a real altcoin season because the money inflows going into ETFs will stay in ETFs, or like it won't really flow down to like the alts because there's only so many crypto ETFs, right? Like previous cycles, it was maybe put your money in Coinbase or Robinhood, and then once Bitcoin topped out or hit some all time high or hit some crazy number, people would cash out and flow that money into alts, which were available on Robinhood or Coinbase. But now, since the money's in ETFs, like there's only like what ETH or Sol or maybe XRP, and that's the only place to put in crypto dollars, right, for crypto exposure.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's fair. I would say that I don't think that in order for the money to flow into the alts, it doesn't need to be the exact Bitcoins being bought from the ETF. Like, there's plenty of Bitcoin that is like on chain that people have been holding for years that will be worth a lot more due to the ETFs going up. So those Bitcoins that are not held by the ETFs that have been sitting in people's wallets for whatever years, those are the Bitcoins that'll be flowing into ETF. So like, I mean, that flows into the rest of the market. So that's very fair. I definitely get that point. But again, I don't think it needs to be the Bitcoin that's being bought by the ETF that flows into the lower stuff. It could be the other fucking 80% of the Bitcoin that's sitting in other people's wallets that's now suddenly worth a fuck ton more. Does that make sense? Like, it doesn't need to
Yeah.
be the ETF funds flowing into the alts. It can be the vast majority of the rest of the Bitcoin sitting in everybody's wallets that's been sitting in their whatever cold wallets for however many years. That's the Bitcoin that ultimately is going to flow. And then I would say there's been memes in past cycles already. BSC. There's been a dispersion of coins for a long time. I think ultimately most of the coins that get volume die out within the day or two anyway. So that even though there's a million coins being made a day, 999,900 whatever, like 990,000 die out within 24 hours anyway. So I would say dispersion's already been there. I do think there's going to be a concentration into more of the stronger memes. A lot of shit's going to die, like it always happens. But I don't necessarily see that playing out in the fact that we don't see an alt season again. I think we haven't seen an alt season because we haven't seen normies kind of sustainably come in yet. But my bet is that will happen at some point this year.
For sure. Should we let Max get in the
Hell yeah.
conversation? Max.
Hell yeah, Max.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Good, brother. How you doing? How you feeling?
Getting better.
Welcome, Max.
Oh man, are you sick as well? What's going on?
Everyone's sick, just like the market.
Yeah, I got whatever that cold is going around. But how's everybody doing today?
Good, man. We're just going over a few things. The markets. We're talking about how Citadel entered, the crypto space. So, kind of wanted to hear your thoughts on that. But for those of you guys who, new to the streams, you haven't, had the pleasure of hearing my boy Max speak before. Max has 4 decades of experience in the traditional finance realm at a pretty high level, as well as he is as a crypto OG as well. He bought Ethereum under $7, right, Max? Under 7.
Yes, sir.
And then Bitcoin, I think, under 1,000. He's lived through not only the dot-com bubble, the 2008 crash, but pretty much every single major crypto correction as well. So his insight is invaluable. He's been giving us plenty of insight on kind of comparing what we're seeing now, not only in just the corrections, but the regulatory realm to what he's seen in the traditional finance realm. So we're so blessed to have him on here. I mean, Max, just to kind of start out, what are your thoughts on Citadel entering? I think it's very bullish that they kind of see longevity in the space. Some people kind of see it differently. What are your thoughts on Citadel kind of entering the market maker space for crypto?
Well, I mean, it kind of fits. The Finks of the world and the Jamie Dimons of the world have figured out that they were on the wrong side of the coin there for no pun intended, wrong side for years, and now they've come on like a rocket ship to buy up as much as they can, and they know they're going to bring all their institutional clients along with them. So they have to get liquidity. They have to get a guy like Citadel to come in because he's got to be the backbone to take on the kind of money that is going to begin to flow, which is going to dwarf what's been there so far.
Interesting. So Citadel. So you're saying whose clients are you talking about? The Citadel's private clients, or
No. It's like, remember what Larry Fink said
yeah,
in Davos when he was asked. His answer was, "We believe our institutional clients should have 2 to 5% of their capital in cryptocurrencies. So I believe at a very minimum, Bitcoin will be 750,000 on the low side." Well, remember, they have tens of thousands of institutional clients.
mm-hmm.
So now that Larry's got himself positioned, he's going to just methodically go to all of his clients and say, yes, you need to do this. But he already knows the size of his clientele, and he knows that if he's going to bring that kind of dollar into the marketplace, he's going to have a Citadel sized liquidity pool to be able to take those kinds of trades on, or it just won't work. So what you're really watching is the orchestration of the larger tools that are needed to make this market much, much larger than it is.
That's beautiful. Love to see that. Yeah, I mean that's just been the general theme I think that we're seeing, and why this stuff is going to matter. And it takes price. It takes price sometimes a while to catch up to all this stuff. But why all this stuff matters is because what we're seeing is structural and like long lasting kind of developments happening. It's not like, oh, this person's thinking about buying Bitcoin. It's that Citadel is, like you said, like having a key piece of infrastructure liquidity wise, kind of setting up where this stuff's not only going to matter in the next few months, but for years to come.
Yeah,
So
these are like the big boys are just starting to bring the building blocks that they've had for decades on the Wall Street side. They know they're going to have the same things in the the crypto market, and they're just, methodically bringing those parties together. Look, Ken Griffin's not going to waste his time getting involved in this unless there's a whole lot to be involved in.
Love to hear that. Also, I keep seeing a bunch of the states, um, Ohio now advances past the committee stage. Do you think? What do you think? Texas will be the first one. I don't know if you've been paying attention to which one's kind of the furthest along. One, do you think Texas, or what do you think will be the first one? If you have any insight in that, and then two, do you think the chances that these things fully get passed are pretty high? What are your kind of thoughts on the strategic Bitcoin reserves as far as the states are going last few weeks?
I think, like anything else, you'll get maybe 25 to a third of them to pass the first run. You'll get, and I don't mean to be political here, but you'll probably get democratically run states to fail because they don't want to look like they're going along with something that Trump thinks is good. And you'll get the Republican states to drive hard into the first wave, and then you'll get split states to be the second wave, and the Democrats will be the very last, but they'll prove to be very foolish in their politicizing of a process because it'll just mean they buy it more expensively.
So you're saying my home state of California is going to buy everybody's bags at the top? Is what you're
I'm
saying?
saying that your home state of California will be probably the last one.
Oh fuck! Oh well.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Well,
But yeah,
if if
Ohio.
if any part of Gavin Newsom's record holds true, he will be the last one.
Yeah, yeah. No, I hear you. That's unfortunate.
He is
But
not the brightest bulb in the socket.
yeah. You see, GME or GameStop is a company they're talking about converting their 5 billion in cash on the balance sheet. Do you think that's something we're going to see in 2025? Is corporations, big ones, buying Bitcoin? Do you think that's what's next to kind of follow the states?
Yeah, I mean, obviously there will be companies that will start slowly putting their toe in the water, and like anything else, days like today will scare them because for some reason it feels more comfortable to buy things when it's expensive. I don't know why, but it's been that way for an awfully long time.
Yeah.
Even if we speak, I guess, is that a live flash of Bitcoin price at 89 on your screen? Is that live?
Yeah,
89,000.
it's bouncing.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's live.
Wouldn't it be fascinating if we get back above 90 in the very same day? So I have a personal opinion about what took place over the last 2 days. Um,
Love to
I,
hear
I
that.
don't I don't think this was uh, I don't think this was not Bitcoin or cryptocurrency related. I think this was a coordinated effort to get as many people off the train as possible and get the brokerages and the dexes flush. I don't think it's a complete coincidence that all the loans from
Buy
Bybit
Bit.
are being paid back instantly after the flush. Now that they're liquid again and they got a bunch of
100%.
tether back on their sheets, I don't think any of that is a coincidence. I think you're going to be dumbfounded at how fast this comes back.
Really? So your take is obviously nothing's for sure, but you think we're going to recover past 90K here, and you think we rip back to all time highs, or you think it's part of a bigger correction, more
You
like?
might get above 90 before we're done with this call.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've heard a similar kind of thesis as what Max is saying, where this is a bit of a flush out driven by the exchanges. Certainly, the recovery of liquidity and volume on the Bybit side of things is
Yeah.
also top of mind right now, and market manipulation and all of this isn't new, especially in a range of chop like this. So
Yep.
you flush out the longs, and then you're able to run up really quickly here after you cause kind of max pain. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's very conceivable. This daily close is fairly important in that respect.
Yep.
But no, it's a really valid point.
Yeah. And I think the other hint you get in that is all their whale clients added. The the big wallets all added Bitcoin in the last 24 hours. So uh, you know this is typical. This is typical before some pretty major things start happening.
Awesome. Amazing. Yeah, no, I mean, just we were touching on that earlier. It's just any of these corrections, whether it's with meme coins, majors, Bitcoin, even these corrections just end. The result is that supply just goes into stronger hands, especially in meme coins, because you see 70 or 80% corrections, and it's like only people that are holding and buying at that point are super like strong handed, like whatever diamond handed people. But we do see that on the Bitcoin side as well, and I see that as well. It's definitely there's probably a lot of whales and people who are like on the fence, kind of waiting, and they see, okay, here's that correction I've been waiting for. It's time to pull the trigger. So
Well, and remember, all you're watching today is the dollars that got flushed out of Bitcoin ETFs yesterday had to be sold in the Bitcoin market today. So, you're just watching a little bit of a domino effect. You might get a retest tomorrow because I'm sure that there's ETF sales today that'll be logged into the system here and they'll have to liquidate. But um, once you've done that, it's like you ever go to the beach and try to hold a beach ball underwater about 3 or 4 feet. All you got to do is move your hands, and the ball pops right out of the water.
yeah,
So that's what these major currencies are sort of positioned as right now. Is ETH whales bought a ton, and Bitcoin whales bought a ton, and XRP whales bought a ton. I mean, just all the big boys feasted on this, and the public is terrified, and media is helping keep you terrified, and headlines will be ugly and scary, and all sorts of monsters will be lurking in the shadows. And what do you know? In a very short period of time, it'll be back up above 100, and people go, "What happened?"
yeah, that all makes so much sense. I think it's easy for people to accept that on Bitcoin, but when most people are just completely in the meme coin realm and their shit's down 90%, it's just really easy to lose sight of everything. But
Well,
definitely,
right now in the meme coin world, it's I mean, for full transparency, I have very little experience in the meme coin world, but if I try to give you an analogy, people are numb at this point, and they're not. Emotions are clearly at the forefront, and uh, that is never a clear vision. Uh, when emotions and numbness and being afraid, you are never going to see things clearly if you're looking through that pair of glasses.
exactly.
Um, it's a real requirement to be able to not succumb to that kind of thought. And what you have to eventually learn in time is that what you feel is precisely opposite at extremes. It is precisely opposite of what you should actually be doing.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's really easy to get lost with the numbness, especially if you have nothing else to reference.
Right.
For sure. Peter Schiff is just really popping off right now.
Oh,
Uh,
he's got 20 tweets, 20 posts that are, that are kind of all the same. He's loving it.
he does this every time Bitcoin's correcting, though, and then his
Yeah.
shit never ages well. He doesn't seem to understand that, at least in the short term, that Michael Saylor doesn't have any interest or expiration or whatever or liquidation price on his his loans or whatever. Obviously, if it 3 or 4 years down the line, he could be forced to sell. But there's no like a lot of people. He thinks like if it goes to a certain price, it's going to be liquidated. That's just not how it works.
Well, Schiff's been on the wrong side of this for only about $100,000. So
Yeah,
I think he's rather comical, but it's popcorn and a Coke, and it's fun to read.
yeah, for sure, for sure. Yeah, it's funny. I said that. I think it was him. That like I think it was like Alex Jones or someone tried to give him a laptop with a certain amount of Bitcoin on it that now would be worth like 100 million, but he didn't take it. Um,
Yep.
but yeah, definitely interesting. And what else? I think as far as Bitcoin or any, let's see. Yeah, I mean, fucking poly market is starting to get more heated up. Have you taken any bets lately, Rhodes? I don't know if Rhodes is still here with us, um, but
Sorry,
yeah,
I missed that. What was that?
I was saying, have you been taking any poly market bets lately?
No.
Yeah, me neither. Me neither. Let's see here.
I had considered one on the NHL to take the Ovechkin to break the record this season. It was a long shot at the time, but he is continuing to score goals like you wouldn't believe. So, very obscure. I don't know if the liquidity was there for that one, but that was something that stood out to me.
For sure. Yeah, we're
Oh,
getting that. Go ahead,
is that
Max.
is that ETH above 25?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Getting a nice
Yeah.
bounce too. Yeah, let's see if it recovers 25, and again, if it pushes over 29 above this corrective channel, we really could see that move up. That'd be perfect, man. I mean, seen this in the past where it's just like breaks a major low, and then the next day recovers.
Yeah, I think if you're lucky enough to get this to retest, obviously everybody's heard the bet the ranch saying, but if you got a ranch, you better get ready to bet it.
Really, I love that. Sell the farm. Bet the ranch. Bet the ranch sounds better. I like that better. Um, but yeah, I think we'll see. That'd be great if this correction ended now. I wouldn't be surprised. But I think, again, just we were talking about earlier before Max came on, I think all these positive developments, again, are just going to be digested as positive by the market pretty soon. I don't know if it, like, we could, I think once everything bottoms out, conditions improve, we could have the same type of developments that we're having now with all the Bitcoin stuff, but we'll just see price start to digest it as positive. Um, I don't know if there necessarily has to be some crazy major catalyst that happens. Usually, narrative follows price. You see price bottom out, and then, like you said, Max. Usually, when these major bottoms happen, you start to see a bunch of big things start to come out. Positive news kind of follow. So
Yeah, I can just tell you that, um, if people are, what you end up learning over time is you can't you can't fall for the idea that the news has to be good for you to feel good again, because the news will not be good until the price is already back where you are buying highs.
yep,
So you can't get stuck in the tweets and the headlines and the comments and you have to be very strong minded in these periods, and you have to recognize the idea is to make money, not to feel good. And um, the ugly underbelly of anything that's as dynamic as what is going on in the crypto world, which is vastly larger than what most people understand, and much longer term. Um, you have to just recognize that part of the deal is ugly spots. It's just there's no there's no way around them. You have to go through them.
absolutely, man. Words of wisdom there. Love that. Um, Damn. Let's see. Let's see if we get above 90. We should definitely look at NFTs. Does anything happen in NFTs this week? Any announcements, Roads? Any?
Pretty quiet. I think the interesting part about NFTs is that with a little less chaos and focus on meme coins, NFTs kind of push back into focus.
Yeah.
So I would be watching them. I'd be watching for a bit of a market rebound before entering, unless you're feeling kind of a little more
Ballsy.
risk on and ballsy. Yeah, exactly. Then certainly you could be picking up at these prices right now, given that we've had a retracement back to really that 2 3 month bounce that we had. We've kind of gone right back to those same prices. So a lot of these will provide a bit of value. Now, keep in mind that that rally was driven by token drops, and with meme coin weakness, et cetera. That narrative doesn't technically exist in the same way. But you're seeing some punk accumulation and things like that kind of give you some positive undertones. Um, Sam Spratt drop was interesting. Kind of shows the strength of the art side of things on NFTs. So there's still things going on, and I'm just going to continue to watch for it. I'm curious to see what this Doodles dark mode is. It's been teased out for far too long. See what that plays into. That's
It
kind of,
doesn't have to do with the coin. It's something different.
I don't know. I like I said, I've always thought that a doodle coin didn't make a lot of sense. Now, of course, when they ousted Julian, then it makes a bit more sense for them to go down that path, and maybe that's something that they're going to try and do. But timing wise, it's not great for them. So we'll see. We'll see what's going on there. But yeah, I would watch for a bit of a bounce, whether that's in apes or continuation in punks. But I think those are kind of important to see how things kind of work on the NFT side of things. But overall, otherwise, kind of quiet for the most part.
Yeah, no, for sure. And if you just look at some of these charts, I mean, if you look at just any way I'd look at normally at a crypto chart or anything, and a lot of these principles with consolidation and certain stuff, it doesn't matter if you're looking at NFTs, gold, Bitcoin, equities, these things matter. And what I really like about the major like top 10 NFT projects is they all have a lot of consolidation of almost a year now of holding this low above 10. And if you hear me talk about anything in the Telegram channel, on these streams, anywhere, that when you're looking for a major top or bottom, the biggest, what you'll almost always see is some type of weeks or months of consolidation, especially if you're looking at a big bear market, big NFT bear market. What you want to see to end that bear market is a lot of consolidation. My point in saying this is we've gotten a year plus of consolidation, holding this 10 ETH low on Bored Ape Yacht Club. That is nothing to scoff at. That's a big base that it's forming here. And if we are to get an NFT bull run, which I think we are going to, we're just kind of waiting for that catalyst. This is exactly what you want to be seeing as far as like a major bottom, right? So I really like this year plus of consolidation, and I really like even better that it's retesting this low, kind of forming a double bottom, and very likely I think between here and 10, whether it takes 2 months, 6 months, whatever, we are going to get that bottom on NFTs, and I do think we get that bull market. I couldn't tell you what the catalyst is going to be. It could be just regulatory clarity as far as the RWAs go. It could be some major ticketing app starting to adopt NFTs. It could be GTA 6 dropping an NFT marketplace. It could be a million things. But what I've learned from the crypto market and all these different things, even in NFTs in the past, is there's always some type of catalyst that kicks things off. And I think we're kind of waiting on that for NFT realm. I think for my thesis, and I'm going to make a tweet on this soon, is I think that, I use the term digital asset super cycle, not meme coin super cycle or crypto super cycle, because I do think that digital assets, all the great digital assets, NFTs, crypto, the fungible and non fungible, are going to really benefit from this regulatory clarity that's coming. So for me, I think my thesis is that we will get another NFT bull run sometime probably this year, 2025, 2026, that will be concentrated in number one, the top 5 to 10 2021 projects that survived, have great operators that have proven that they can do good stuff, have good IP. My bet is on VFriends as far as that goes. And then two, meme coin NFTs. I think those are still going to take off. this year. You're talking about the Sproto Gremlins, the Aeon, stuff like that, the Pawn NFTs probably, and then CryptoPunks, and obviously I think Ordinals are going to do well. So that's kind of my thesis. How long is that going to take? Is that going to be in another couple months, another 6 months? For me, I'm really excited again about VFriends. I've been collecting a ton of a ton. I'm a top 10 holder in both the first and second collection. Because for me, I think we're going to have that second NFT bull run. But the ones that are going to win are the ones that have the best operators behind them. I think nobody, you know, comes close to Gary Vee. He's going to run circles around people. Even Luca Netz, I think he's great. Fuck ton of respect for him right now. Pudgies are at the top. But just especially with how Gary Vee and stuff's been talking about lately, he's been really active on on Twitter and pretty much really specifying that all the physical collectibles and cards and stuff they're doing, that the VF1, the V Friends Series 1 NFT is the grail and will be the top collectible. And that everything they're doing on the physical side is to drive people ultimately into the NFTs. And for that reason, I think V Friends will do very well. And just the top 5 to 10 Pudgies, Bored Ape Yacht Club, CryptoPunks, obviously, are in their own lane. Stuff like that, those projects are going to do very well. I think VFriends goes back to all-time highs. I don't know, Bored Ape Yacht Club at whatever, how many ETH it was, that's kind of tough. But I think a lot of these projects are going to push back towards all-time highs. We already saw Pudgies hit it. I think, did Azuki hit all-time highs?
No,
Didn't get close. I'm not sure. Let's see.
their
Yeah.
all-time highs was well over 20.
Okay, so got about halfway there. So yeah, I think top 5 to 10 2021 projects will do well, and then I really do think the Memecoin NFT stuff will really explode as well. But how long does that take? Who knows? Kind of waiting on a major catalyst, but I think it's coming. Let's see. What are that? What are those ones that we were looking at? The Gearsons? What the fuck? How do you even spell that?
Yeah, they pulled back to about a half based on allocation for the airdrop expectation. So where are they sitting now?
0.37. Wow.
Yeah. So again, buoyed by a token airdrop. Team's still doing a lot. Art's still interesting, but when the allocation or the airdrop came in less than expected, then quite a pullback. Kind of very similar to Kaido. Kaido had a similar letdown where near the peak versus airdrop was less than expectation as well. Even though Kaido itself has performed really well on the token, the airdrop for the NFT wasn't as strong as expected. So really, I mean, outside of Pangu and Pangu in the short term, most of these airdrops have underwhelmed pretty substantially, and it goes to highlight that it's always buy the rumor, sell the news, sell before the event, and if you're attached, etc., you can rebuy back in, and that's always been the play that's worked well when it comes to NFTs, whether that's collection expansion, anything. There is a catalyst to increase price based on an expected event, then you sell prior to that event, 2 to 3 weeks, and buy back in afterwards. And it's played out nearly 100% of the time. Like I said, Pangu might be a bit of the exception, but for the most part, it's always played out that way.
For sure. And I mean, yeah, just anytime you get an airdrop of any type, especially these NFT ones, and we're in shitty crypto conditions, I think it's always a good thing to at least take some off the board. As far as the NFT tokens, I think it's going to come down to is same kind of thing as if the NFTs are only going to hold value is if the operators behind them make people give a fuck about the actual IP, like actually about paying the Penguins, actually about the Azuki, whatever they're doing with decentralizing anime, actually the V Friends and stuff like that. And for those same reasons, the NFT projects that figure it out, the ones that create like an actual ecosystem with their products, all this stuff, I think that they'll figure out a way for the token to kind of be intertwined and integrated into their ecosystem, and those coins for that reason will go to the multiple billions and go up someday. But yeah, I agree. Most of these NFT projects that aren't going to be here 5 years from now, the token probably will go to zero. But I do think Pangu, I wouldn't count it out. I do think Luca will have a plan to integrate it. He's already talked a little bit about it, how they can integrate the coin into the physical products, help people get a little bit of money back on the product they bought, maybe possibly make a little bit of money, stuff like that. I think that stuff, the good operators, the creative ones, the ones that are good, are going to find a way to make these tokens valuable. But yeah, I think it's always a good idea to kind of sell a bit of the airdrop when it comes out. Some of these look really sick, but what are punks at? That's one of my big goals this year, is really want to get a Grail punk that I've and hold that shit forever.
Did you hear about the punk trade that happened over the weekend? Really, prior to the dump, someone floored two punks, basically wrapped them and dropped them to blur bids, and then 3.5x shorted Bitcoin.
I did
Played
see
out
that.
pretty darn well. So every once in a while, you'll see these crazy trades like that that'll happen where someone liquidates something and goes full port into something else.
That's some degenerate shit. You know, he was doing that for the thrill, because you know you could just use like regular money he probably had, but he's like, "Well, I'm gonna put a punk up for it." Like,
Yeah, right.
that's crazy. That's nuts.
Punks sub 100K is always kind of interesting. I mean, the floor for them got as low as I think 50, around that 50K range. So that's kind of the lower end of what you could ultimately expect in the deep bear where we got to. But anything sub 100, I think, is interesting for punks on the most part.
Absolutely. 34. So what is that? That's right under 100. Right under 100. I'm trying to see any near the floor where they're like, I like this one. It's cool. This kind of looks like what's his name's, but a different skin color. What's his name?
Yeah, stats.
That's yeah. But yeah, I think for NFTs, we're just waiting for that catalyst. It'd be great if it came in the next few months. But I do think I don't know. That'd be sweet. That'd be really cool if GTA 6 dropped some kind of digital asset thing. But
Right? That that definitely would be a catalyst.
I don't know if you guys saw recently, like um, they're like there's signs that they're like contacting creators to kind of make creative type experiences like Roblox. Let's see, Rockstar Games creators of the Grand Theft Auto series are reportedly in talks with top Roblox creators to create custom experiences to make it the next big metaverse platform. And then there's talking in here like how they're like, oh, well, we don't know how like the creators are going to get paid. I mean, wouldn't it be perfect if they just had a whole digital asset like ecosystem set up where you know these creators can get paid for their creations via NFTs, you know, digital items, a coin possibly. Um, I don't know. I feel like that's kind of the future. Will GTA do it this early? Who knows? Obviously, that'd be amazing. I mean, that's kind of what everybody's anticipating, but would be amazing. I think in that case, we for sure see NFTs kind of blast off. But yeah, I think really what you want to see is a Bored Ape Yacht Club like ripping above like 30 sustainably levels wise as far as charts go. But Pudgy Penguins all the way at 8 again.
Yeah, that's wild. I mean, that's historically a fairly good price range for them. That's right down there at their consolidation range. So it's kind of interesting.
Damn, it was back down here a year ago even.
Yep. And
So
that's without any anticipation of a token back then, right? So it's all based just on the ecosystem and what is able to be done by Luca. So thesis wise, Pudgy's around that 8. You know, if you can get a bid in it at 7.5, I think that's a really good entry level.
for sure. Yeah, timeline's pretty quiet. Nothing really going on the last few hours, but yeah, just got to wait for the majors to show their hands again. If we get that recovery over 91, who knows? Maybe we push up from here, but also could kind of chop out, kind of see how a correction similar to how we got in September 24, where we're here for several more weeks. Either way, I think next few months, 2025, I still think there's going to be a strong year for the majors and memes and everything that does survive. And yeah. But yeah, Max, anything else as far as like the regulatory side? Anything we didn't hit, like states wise? Anything else that you saw notable this week?
No, not really. I think I think one thing that might help uh, the listeners is try not to anticipate when something happens, because what it does is it tends to create tension that kind of clouds your thinking, and you start thinking things like, oh gosh, well, it didn't happen, this week, so it must not, it it it's probably not going to happen. uh, Markets are going to do their best to fool you, so that's their design. um,
Mhm.
it's there's not a schedule, so you got to be a little bit um, zen like, and kind of let it come to you and be prepared, but don't expect, because expecting things get you disappointed more often than not, and then that clouds what you really got to pay attention to. So I
Absolutely.
would just, things always take a little longer than you think they're going to take. Um, I wouldn't be at all surprised to see a retest here and make sure anybody who had any inkling of being positive is gone. uh, so the job of the market at the lows is to crush everybody's spirit, and leave, like I said last time, leave the station empty. And you know it it's designed to do that, and you have to just understand that's the deal.
For sure. I'm reading here that like obviously I'm not seeing it from any big news things, but some pretty big accounts that like the Ukraine and Russia are
Yeah.
coming close to a peace
Well,
treaty or whatever.
there's a lot of stuff going on that's going to bring rates down, um, and that's going to free up some of the pressure. And I think we're probably not too many meetings away on the Fed before QT comes to a halt or is lessened a great deal. Um, I wouldn't be surprised to see rates down near 4% instead of 4.5, um, in the next couple of months. And I don't think it's too odd to think it's got a 3 on it before the end of the year.
Okay, I love that. Job's not finished. Did you guys see what collectorcrypt.com is doing? They're turning physical Pokemon cards into NFTs. Yeah, man. There's another. I forgot what the company's called, but there's a big one. There's a few big ones that are doing real world assets. Obviously, the real estate and all that stuff's coming, but right now they're already doing Pokemon cards, just luxury goods, stuff like that. Where essentially there's an NFT version of the good. It's stored at some type of vault or wherever the company has it. And then you can burn the NFT and they'll physically send you the product. Stuff like that is going to definitely transform luxury goods, verifications for sneakers, and then eventually real estate contracts and all that good shit. So, um, pumped up fund deposits $80,000 in a Kraken or 87,000 sold in a Kraken. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I think the market's just kind of waiting for that next big move. NFTs will run eventually. Bitcoin, we'll see what happens. But I think we've been on here for a bit. you think we missed anything else? If not, guys, I think we should call it. For those of you guys who are new to the show, maybe you came on here towards the end. My name is Bren. We run these shows twice a week, Tuesday at 1 p.m. PST, and then Fridays at 10 a.m. PST. During these times where not much is going on, definitely a different show. We still love to do this. And It's been great having Max on. Expect even more so this year. We'll have our face cams, a bunch of other cool stuff, different cool guests and everything. But yeah, we'll definitely be back on here on Friday at like I said, 10 a.m. PST. And then look out for, like I said, follow the Telegram channel, Boss Man Calls. Is where I spend a lot of my time, do for write ups. Myself and Max, both of us have been pretty sick this week, but we're going to be doing multiple streams a week in there as well. And then yeah, follow these guys, everybody on the panel. For Loco isn't on here today. My boy Yoni as well. They're usually on here. But yeah, follow the count they're doing with Bridge 3 Labs. And anything else before I miss, guys? Any final thoughts before we close it out?
No, any good poly market bets or?
No, we can pull that up. Somebody asked any thoughts on Bark buying Kanye's account. I mean, I don't know. I find it. I just don't think he sold his account. I think everybody hopping on that narrative. I don't know what to tell you. I think that's crazy. I don't think Kanye West sold his account to Bark for $17 million. That seems to be the general consensus. But I think looking back a few months from now, is that you, Maxie? That's
No,
weird.
I think it's really.
Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. But yeah, I don't think he sold his account. If you had to, if you know to guess, I think
Dude,
Kanye.
at this point, if you're buying Kanye's Memecoin, you're insane.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
Yeah, you're insane. You're definitely definitely
Just
want
go
to.
to Vegas. Go to Vegas and have more fun.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, for sure. Do never put anything that's
I personally believe it's going to be the biggest flop maybe yet.
Yeah, I mean, if he has some if people are right and he has some crazy shitty team behind it that's just looking to extract, but if there's somebody, if not Kanye, somebody eventually is going to launch one of these into good conditions, not extract from it, tie it to their actual real world stuff, and do it the right way, and it's not going to go to zero. Trump, I think, was heading towards that. We had shitty market conditions, and then he's the president, so he can't really talk about it. I don't think Kanye is going to probably be the right one, but somebody into good market conditions of Kanye's level is going to launch a coin where it actually goes well and is kind of a win for everybody. But on a case to case basis, you're right. It's a complete gamble, and you're just taking the risk of your shit going to zero.
I know this is going to sound like a twisted view, and maybe no one will agree with this, but I think the best thing that could possibly happen to the meme coin market is exactly what has happened,
Yeah,
such that people begin to realize that you don't find the thing that's 11 minutes old, you find the thing that's a year and a half old, and you buy it for the long haul, and you buy it to own something because there's some value behind it. Otherwise, you are not in the meme coin business. You're in the gambling business,
yeah,
and that's just what it is. And if you don't get it, then it's going to take all your money, and then you'll get it.
yeah, absolutely. Great points. Great points. Rojam says, "Thanks, y'all. Stay healthy. Yeah, you too, bro." He said, "Are you bullish on the green frog?" If you mean frog, yeah, I'm bullish on. There's a couple green frogs. I'm bullish on Flog and Pepe. I think are going to recover, especially Pepe. I'm shorting Kanye coin 45 minutes after it comes. That also sounds pretty fucking risky. I think the best bet is just to fucking
Stay
sit
away.
out. Yeah, I'm not buying it, but it was news. Its news is so entertaining. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely crazy lore behind it. I mean, if yeah, I don't know. If Kanye could get his mental together, if him out of anybody could actually tie it to his merch and everything, but obviously he's on some crazy shit. But yeah, let's see. PayPal plans to integrate stablecoins in more of its products this year in an effort to address all of its merchants. Interesting. Yeah, people forget PayPal has its own stablecoin too. But yeah, if there's not any closing thoughts, we'll definitely be back here on Friday again. Hopefully, we get a recovery since then. Either way, we'll keep doing these streams, and I think, like I said, the best is yet to come for crypto and for the people that stick around. So we appreciate you for being on here. Danksy, Rhodes, Max, any closing thoughts?
Have a
Yeah,
good week,
excellent
everybody.
as always. Appreciate the thoughts. Max, great to meet you. Well done, guys.
Good to see you guys.
You too,
Yep, no
guys.
good on my end. Anyone going to ETH Denver, hit me up. But besides that, have a
You're
good
going
rest of
to
the week.
Denver too?
Dude, ETH Denver, I'm going tomorrow. I'm telling you, I'm beat. I'm running on fumes at this point.
Nice, bro. Yeah, make sure you have some warm clothes, dude. I stopped in Denver like last week and it was fucking like -2 there.
Yeah, dude, Denver's cold. It's Mile High City. Maybe watch some basketball when I'm there.
Hell yeah, bro. Enjoy yourself, be safe, and
Yep.
be on the stream. We'll see you guys on Friday. Love you guys and oh wait, never mind. That was a question from earlier. All right, guys. I love you guys. Peace.
Peace.
See you.
See ya. Bye bye.